a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing.
Sociopath, psychopath, murderer.
The man who brutally stabbed 4 University of Idaho students to death will spend the rest of his life behind bars.
I will not attempt to speak about him further, other than to simply sentence him so that he is forever removed from civilized society.
Brian Koberger showing no emotion as friends and family of the victims testified to the destruction and damage he caused.
He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home.
That was the worst day of my life, and I know it always will be.
Welcome to Idaho News 6. I'm executive reporter Karen Lair. It's a case that's been building for more than 2.5 years, and tonight it comes to a close. Our neighborhood reporters have been down at the Ada County Courthouse since the very early morning hours this morning, and tonight we have team coverage for you. Joining me now, senior reporter Don Nelson and neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker.
Karen, what an emotional day it has been here at the Ada County Courthouse in downtown Boise. Riley, you were inside the courthouse. You saw the people come and go, including family and friends.
Don, it's been a long day. I've been here since 3 a.m. and a lot happened. A lot of questions were answered. And in the nearly 3 years since the murder occurred, we had never heard from those 2 surviving roommates until today. Inside the courtroom, before a word was even spoken, you could hear the pain.
What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, 4 beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason.
Dylan Mortensen, one of the 2 surviving roommates, began her statement in tears, hyperventilating as she faced the man now convicted of upending her world. For the first time since the attack, we heard words from both roommates, offering long-awaited answers.
I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there.
So much mystery surrounded that morning, many wondering why it took hours to call 911.
I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache, so I called my dad, who is a dentist. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. That was the worst day of my life, and I know it always will be.
Bethany Funk's statement, read by a close friend, described her confusion that morning, her enduring guilt, and the relentless online harassment that followed. She also revealed the fear that has gripped her ever since. Then Mortensen took to the podium, her voice trembling as she shared the lasting trauma of what she survived.
He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. But I'm still trying. Still trying, and I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
As their words echoed through the courtroom, all eyes turned to Brian Koberger, sitting silently and stone-faced as the courtroom echoed with raw grief and anguish. Koberger never offered an apology, an explanation, or little more than a glance towards the victims' families. Just feet behind him sat his mother and sister, both present for the sentencing. Neither addressed the court, and the defense declined to take questions, a stark contrast to the outpouring of emotion from the other side of the courtroom. And in a long-awaited news conference after the hearing, officials answered questions that have loomed since November 13th of 2022.
Do you have a motive? We don't.
Investigators also revealed that despite rigorous efforts, they never found the murder weapon, but they did seem to confirm that Kaylee Gonzalez was stabbed 34 times. They say they monitored Koberger's jail calls, but found nothing of value. Investigators adding that his family never offered any evidence or tips for the investigation, and his demeanor when arrested, calm and relaxed. And if not for the knife sheath, they believe they still would have found him by tracking the white Honda Elantra. In the end, prosecutors argued no words from Koberger would offer clarity or truth.
I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be the truth.
Judge Hibbler echoed that, sharply condemning Koberger before locking him away for good.
His grotesque acts of evil have buried and hidden anything that might have been good or intrinsically human about him. I remand the defendant to the custody of the Idaho State Board of Corrections for to be imprisoned in an appropriate facility and execution of the sentence where he will remain until he dies.
So, Dawn, the Moscow police said they were posting on their website today, and they have released many police reports, or all the police reports, rather, that they have from this case. So a lot of questions are now being answered today. And, it was an emotional day, as you saw in a lot of those statements, and you spoke directly with the families.
Yes, we'll hear some of that dramatic testimony from inside the courtroom as they stared down a convicted killer and what they had to say out here to the sea of media coming up after the break.
So, Dawn, I was inside the courthouse listening to the family and the friends give their testimonies and their emotional victim impact statements. But you were out here talking with them as they exited the courthouse. What was that like?
The families came out and met the media, hordes of media, as we mentioned. There were dozens of outlets here from all around the Northwest and around the country. But here's what they said in and outside of the courtroom. As the victims' families left the courthouse, they embraced, as almost to say, it's over.
This way, his fate is sealed. Society is protected, and we can move on with our lives and attempt to recover.
The families took turns addressing the throngs of media waiting for them outside. Steve Gonzalez explained why he moved the podium inside the courtroom so he could face his daughter's killer.
I wanted to let him know that I was directing everything towards him, and his days of being protected are coming to an end. I remember reading it saying, "Do not move." So I was like, well, I'm moving this. I just kind of made that decision right then and there. So, I want to make it as difficult as possible. I knew my daughter was going to do a speech, and I'd heard it, and I was like, he's going to hate this. He's going to hate this next set of people that are going to come forward and really rip into him and really expose him for what kind of a piece of trash he was.
In the courtroom, Kaylee's older sister, Olivia, followed with stinging words pointed at the convicted killer.
I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be.
Maddie Mogan's grandmother spoke of the time when Maddie was young and called her funny names. But it was the compassion she showed Koberger that she admitted would probably surprise some people.
This is probably going to bother everybody, but Brian, I'm here today to tell you I have forgiven you because I no longer could live with that hate in my heart, and for me to become a better person, I have forgiven you. And anytime you want to talk and tell me what happened, get my number. I'm here. No judgment, because I do have answers or questions that I want you to answer.
As Steve Gonzalez walked away, I asked him this.
Was this the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life today? The words that came out of your mouth, looking him, cold killer in his eyes?
Yeah, it was my whole family, to have my whole family be put into a position where you're vulnerable in there, and you're facing the killer that killed your own family. So it was tough. It was hard, but we knew it had to be said. We knew we couldn't make it easy for this person. We got to make these things tougher and hold people accountable, and that was our goal.
Thing I asked Steve Gonzalez outside the steps here at the courthouse, I said, do you feel better today than you did 24 hours ago? He paused, he thought about it, and he goes, yes. So there is a glimmer of hope there for his family.
Well, I'm hoping that it was, sort of a release for these people
I think so.
who, got to say their piece after so many years.
Yeah.
So, wrapping up just an emotional day here at the Ada County Courthouse, sending it back to Karen Lair in the studio.
Thank you so much. An incredibly emotional day. Well, we have heard from the friends and the family members. Coming up after the break, we're going to honor the memory of the victims who lost their lives in this terrible attack. The shocking nature of the U of I stabbings put a heavy focus on finding justice for the perpetrator, Bryan Kohberger. But in the end, he's just a criminal, and the sooner forgotten, the better. Tonight, we're honoring the victims. Beyond the headlines and the crime scene photos, they were people with passions and big dreams for the future. So here's how we hope to remember these 4 Idaho students gone too soon. 4 University of Idaho students whose dreams were cut short. The victims, all friends and part of the University of Idaho's Greek system. Madison Mogan, friends call her Maddie. The 21-year-old senior was a marketing major with a bright future ahead of her. She ran social media for a local restaurant and was known for her warm smile and kind heart. Friends say Madison loved country music and spending time with her family and boyfriend. Her father described her as the best person you could ever meet. Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison's best friend since 6th grade. The 21-year-old senior had just accepted a job in Austin, Texas, and was planning a post-graduation trip to Europe. She was a general studies major with plans to pursue a career in law. Kaylee's family remembers her adventurous spirit and how she loved spending time with her dog, Murphy. Her sister said Kaylee was the one who glued us all together. Xana Kernodle was a 20-year-old junior studying marketing. Friends describe her as a positive, funny person and someone who could lift spirits in any room she entered. Xana worked at a Greek restaurant near campus and was known for her strong work ethic. Her father said she was tough as nails and fought for her life until the very end. She had recently celebrated her birthday with her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin. Ethan was a 20-year-old freshman studying recreation, sport, and tourism management. He was a triplet, with his brother and sister also attending the University of Idaho. Friends remember Ethan for his infectious smile and love of sports, especially basketball. His mother described him as our comedian, who always made everyone laugh. The Chapin family has since created Ethan's Smile, a foundation dedicated to helping students participate in sports and recreation. These 4 young people were more than victims of a terrible crime. They were sons and daughters, friends and classmates, each with dreams and plans for the future. Their lives continue to be celebrated by those who knew and loved them. The University of Idaho has established memorial scholarships in each of their names. Their legacies live on through the memories shared by family, friends, and a community that will never forget them. Kohberger sentencing drew massive crowds and media from all over the country. After the break, we look at the role massive public interest and media coverage played in the case.
The Kohberger murder case impacted the entire country, and the media turnout was bigger than any court case I've seen, including the Daybell trials. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, and I was at the courthouse at 4 a.m. and was surprised to see media tents up already and people waiting in line to witness the sentencing in person. The Kohberger case is about more than just a salacious crime drama for the people who were drawn to be at the courthouse in the middle of the night.
Justice, support the families. We've got 2 girls here from Idaho that
from U of I.
Yeah, from the university, and they're here to support the families and We all are.
About 40 people got to sit in the courtroom for drama that brought many to tears.
She knew how precious and special life was, and she truly did live every day to the fullest. Yet her story was cut short by an act of evil.
I just want to see some sort of closure for the families. I know there's so many things that we as the general public don't even know still, that the families do know. And I just want to see it end.
The end was covered by more than 30 news organizations spilling out from the designated areas. It ends a string of high-profile court cases in Idaho that will hopefully never be repeated. In Nampa, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, Idaho News 6.
The role of media and free speech has been at the center of this case from the very beginning. What do people deserve to know and when? The disturbing nature of the crime sparking international attention. And in the 2.5 years since, it's spawned countless blogs, podcasts, news specials, docuseries, and even a book by James Patterson. All this despite a strict gag order intended to preserve Kohberger's constitutional right to a fair trial. The victims' families reacting to that media interest and attention in different ways. Some chose to stay silent, telling the court today the constant barrage only prolonged and worsened their grief.
Social media made it so much worse, and strangers made up stories to entertain themselves. The media harassed not just me, but also my family. People showed up at our house. They called my phone, my parents' phones, other family members' phones, and we were chased while I was still trying to survive emotionally and grieve the loss of my friends.
Now, others, like the family of Kaylee Gonsalves, have been more outspoken, using their platform to keep attention on the case and demand answers in their pursuit of justice.
You can use the media as much as they're using you. You can use it to keep people accountable, keep people honest, keep the court system, treating you with a little bit of respect. And I think that's what we did. And the more that you get active, I think the more chance that you're going to get that justice in the end.
And it isn't over. Last week, the Gonsalves family telling ABC News they want more answers, but they don't want Kohberger to write a book or gain in any way from his crimes. It's a concern echoed by Judge Stephen Hippler in court this morning.
I know there has been concern about him collaborating on books or movies or other media projects, and I truly hope that someone does not stoop to affording him this spotlight that he desires in the name of clicks, royalties, or profits. In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame.
The judge lifting the gag order in the Kohberger case last week after it became clear he would not go to trial. And the city of Moscow sharing a new website where anyone can access documents from their homicide investigation for free. As soon as we have that link, you'll be able to find it on our website. And some documents will remain under seal by the court, but we do expect to gain some access to new information in the coming months. And this is a story we've been following for you from the very beginning, and we'll continue to track new developments to bring you the very latest. You can always find our complete coverage online on idahonews6.com, and join us this Friday night at 10 o'clock for a special newscast. I'll be taking you on a deeper dive into the key evidence in the case against Bryan Kohberger.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Tonight, we close the door on the terrible tragedy in Moscow. And as the families process their grief and Kohberger is banished to his cell, we turn our attention away from the killer. Instead, we leave you with this powerful statement from Scott Laramie, the stepfather of Madison Mogen.
But evil does not deserve our time and attention. We are done being victims. We are taking back our lives. We will turn our time, talents, and attention to hope, healing, and helping others, and to the future. We invite all those who have suffered with us on this to join us in our journey. We can make this world a better place. We can move on from tragedy. Adversity will visit us, evil will visit us, but we will overcome. We can and will endure.